Hi, it's Mrs. Holbrook, and you are getting ready to watch the Chapter 1 Statistics Review for your semester exam. So if you are listening at the end of this, I will tell you, no, I'll tell you now. I said I would make it worth your while to listen to this video, and here is what I'm allowing you to do. You can get one index card, 3 inches by 5 inches, or measure that size on a piece of paper and use that. 3-inch by 5-inch note card or piece of paper, and any information you can fit on it you can bring in for your semester exam. It will count as 5 extra points on your exam. So there is making it worth your while. So let's take a look at our review. To start with, let's go over some vocabulary. Measures of central tendency. Review of the concepts. Mean is the average. Add up all the data points and divide by the number of numbers. Median. It's the number in the middle. Put the numbers in order, find the one in the middle. If you have an even number of numbers, you add the 2 middle numbers together and divide by 2. Mode is the number that occurs the most. And you won't always have a mode. Sometimes you can have 2 modes as well. It would be considered bimodal. And range is the difference between the highest and lowest numbers. So highest number minus lowest number. Sampling method. So how we pick the people. How do we get our sample of people? Self-selected. People choose on their own to participate. Systematic. We're going to order the population and then pick at a regular interval. An example would be putting everyone in alphabetical order and then taking every 3rd person and having them participate. Random is exactly how it sounds. Everyone is equally likely to be chosen. There's no order set to it. And convenience, the people are conveniently located, the right place at the right time. Study method is what they are going to do when they have their people together. Once they have their sample people, now what are we going to study? We can ask them to do a survey. Every member is asked the same exact set of questions. We could observe them. We're just going to watch them and they don't know what we're watching them for. Or it could be a controlled experiment where the people are split into 2 groups, a control group and a test group. The next thing to consider is bias. When part of the population is overrepresented or underrepresented, you have bias. And this occurs based on the sampling method. So if I want to talk about food in the cafeteria and I go to just one career tech field, so let's say I go to cosmetology, I am overrepresenting the female population here, and I am underrepresenting the male population. So it's biased because of where I got my people from, where I'm getting my sample from. Okay, standard deviation is simply talking about how the data spreads away from the middle. I would depend on your calculator for this. So make a list. To do that, you hit Stat, go to Edit, then hit Enter and start typing in your data. You might want to make a note as to what list you're putting it in. Once it's all there, press Stat, arrow over to Calc, hit Enter once you highlight one var stat for one variable statistics. Check and make sure your list number matches up. And then you can arrow up and down for the data. Your standard deviation will be there. The minimum, the maximum, the mean will be there. The range will be there. A ton of information is in that list once you type it in there. Once you know the mean and your standard deviation, you can sketch a bell curve and get even more information. So here's just a general bell curve, nothing fancy about it. The very middle is where your mean goes. And again, once you know your standard deviations, you can subtract that amount from the mean to get one standard deviation away and add it to get one standard deviation to the right. Subtract it from the newest number, add it to the newest number, and you get 2 standard deviations away, and do it again for 3 standard deviations. 99.7% of all your data will fall within 3 standard deviations. So here's an example. If your mean is 100 and your standard deviation is 12, your bell curve would look like this. Here's our mean at 100. Subtract 12, add 12. Subtract 12 again, add 12 again. Subtract 12 once more, and add it once more. And there's where most of your data is going to fall. Well, let's imagine now that I give you these numbers and say, okay, within how many standard deviations does this data fall? Well, there's where 96, no, that's not where 96 would be, but we're going to pretend that it would be somewhere near there. We just go through and plot all of our points. And I swear when I made this, they made sense. Okay, within one standard deviation, so we're looking from 88 to 112. And unfortunately or fortunately, I have more data points out here, so it's more than just one standard deviation. So from 76 to 124 is 2 standard deviations. Well, I don't have anything past 76 this way. I don't even have anything past 112 this way. So our answer is within 2 standard deviations from the mean. 68, 95, 99.7% rule. You need to remember these percentages. This is something I would put on that note card I was talking about. Within one standard deviation of the mean is 68%, 34 to the left, 34 to the right. Yes, I know my left and right. Sorry, I stumbled there. 2 standard deviations, we're adding 13.5% in both directions. 3 standard deviations adds another 2.35% in both directions, and that leaves this little itty bitty 0.15% out on both ends for your outliers. So there is your Chapter 1 review.